Alright guys, it's that time. It's officially time to replace one of my dive computers. And I'm really going to miss this one. I've had this one since 2012. I've logged more than 2,500 dives just with this computer alone. And it's been a great one. It's actually a Marius Puck Air. It's an integrated dive computer. It's got a compass built in. Super easy to replace the battery here. It's very friendly there. But it is time to replace it. You see, even though the screen is still working, unfortunately, the button no longer works. And no matter how many firmware updates I do, no matter how many times I replace the battery in the back, it just doesn't work anymore. It's well outside its warranty, and after 2,500 dives alone on just this computer, I think it is time to replace it. So in today's video, not only am I going to show you what I'm replacing it with, I'm also going to show you how I replace it and some of the special things I do to it as well. What's up guys, it's Brian again from Lake Hickory Scuba and Marina. If you are new to our channel, do me a huge favor, hit this little subscribe button right here and ding that little bell as well. That way you guys are going to be notified every time we upload new content. Now in today's video, I'm actually going to be replacing one of my dive computers here, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is to do. Now I'm not just talking about unscrewing it from the first stage itself and screwing a new one on. I'm talking about physically going in and changing the computer out, changing the hose on it, and doing a little bit of maintenance to it as well. You see, I've got a Marius Puck Air with compass dive computer here. This is an air integrated model, which means, you know, it's going to read your air pressure as well. But I use a MyFlex hose. I don't use a standard rubber hose that comes on most console bound computers. But I really like this computer, but it is time to replace it. It's got to the point where it's unserviceable. It's not under warranty anymore, and I've definitely got my use out of it. But there are some things that I need to transfer over. One, I'm going to be transferring my bolt snap here over to the new computer as well. And I'm even going to be transferring this hose over as well, which is a MyFlex hose. Because once again, I don't prefer the rubber hoses that comes on these. So with that being said, let's jump into today's video and show you how I'm going to be replacing this Marius Puck Air with the Puck 4 Mission 3 computer console. Alright guys, so the first thing I want to do is go ahead and just kind of clean off my workspace here. I'm going to be taking the computer itself, and I'm just going to undo the hose from my first stage. Now to do this, of course, I'm just going to need a number 14 millimeter wrench here, and I'm just going to pop it free from the first stage, just like that. Once I got it free, of course, I can simply unscrew it. And then all we will have left here is just a computer. We'll actually get rid of this reg set, so that we have a little bit of room to work. Just like that. Let me set the reg set aside. Alright. And we're going to set the computer itself up. And let me actually show you, go a little bit more in detail about what I'm replacing it with. This was the Puck Air dive computer from the Marius line. It's just a single button computer, but it is air integrated. You'll notice it does have a built-in compass as well. And it's been a great computer. I really enjoy this. I don't typically wear a computer on a console for fun diving or tech diving and recreational, but for work diving, where I do public safety work, commercial work, and salvage work, I absolutely love a style of computer in this sense. A lot of people ask me why that's the case, and it's simple. A lot of times, especially in public safety diving, I do not have time to put a computer on my wrist. And yes, I love wrist-mounted computers, but I simply don't have the time to do that. And even in commercial work and salvage work, if I'm reaching inside of a water intake system or up inside of a pump system and my hand gets stuck, sometimes I got to yank my hand out really fast. And when I do that, I run the risk of catching on my computer and tearing up my computer. So I really like a console mounted computer for work type of diving, and this one's been an absolutely great. Like I said earlier, this computer's probably got about 2,500 dives on it, and it's got everything I need. So it tells me depth, time, pressure, and of course I got a compass too if I'm mapping out an area. But I really truly love this style of computer. But what am I replacing it with? I'm actually going with the Puck 4 from Mares Mission 3 console. So you're going to get your computer. In this case, this is not an area integrated computer. You're also going to get your pressure gauge there. And then here on the back, it's also got my compass as well. Now, as I stated, I do like for work style diving just having one unit that'll basically do everything, but I actually don't want that unit around my wrist. I want it on a console, and this is really going to fit the bill. Now, I will state they do have a brand new puck air out as well. Unfortunately, it does not come with the compass. You're going to have to add a compass separate, whether you clip it to your wrist, you clip it to a hose or something like that. So I chose not to go with an air integrated model this time. I'm actually using the Puck 4, or what they call the Mission 3 console. Just simply, there's 3 parts to it, and then it's the Puck 4. So it's the Mission 3 Puck 4. And I really think this is going to be a great option for me as well. I will be making a separate video on this particular computer, this entire console set, and how to operate it, because you actually don't get the compass with this one. And even though I said I wanted a system with a compass, you do have to order the compass separate, but it's got a slot here to put it in. And one cool little feature, if you don't need a compass, maybe you do want the compass on your wrist, this one here comes with a slate that pops in here as well. So if you're an instructor or just a buddy in general that wants to write stuff when you're underwater, it's a great way to do it as well. But let's go ahead. I'm going to be breaking my primary unit, which is my puck air, down first, and then I'm going to break this guy down and show you how easy it is to replace hoses and all that. Then we'll get it strapped onto a rec set and make sure that everything's working. Alright guys, so the first thing I want to do is go ahead and take off my bolt snap here, and you can use a pair of scissors, you can use a knife, whatever you want to use. I'm just going to use a knife here really quick, and I'm going to cut my line off. We will be tying this on to onto the other computer. Let me get this cut off here. Very good. And we will be reusing this guy here very shortly. We've actually got a video showing you how to attach your bolt snaps to things such as your console or your pressure gauge, or even say a flashlight and things like that. I will link that video down below or somewhere up here on the screen. If you want to go and watch the video, we simply show you how to tie one of these on. Now I need to actually get this hose off, this MyFlex hose, from this computer first. Now to do that, there is a pin system that we've got to push out. So let me grab a little punch really quick. So we are going to push this pin out, which is going to allow this computer module to pop out of this boot here. So let's just push that out there. And we can pull that pin out just like that. And then all we got to do is just fold forward on the console, and that computer module is just going to pop right out. Now I want you to look. You guys always wonder, you know, how do we do dives and stuff? Look at the grime and stuff that is on that. And yes, we do clean our systems, but as you can see, it is just absolutely grimy. Alright, I'm just going to take a little rag, wipe that guy down there. And you'll notice that at the bottom of this console here, there is 2 little nuts, if you will. You're actually going to need a number 14, okay, for the bottom. And then you are going to need a number 13 here. All I'm going to do is hold one side, I'm going to hold the other side, and then I'm going to squeeze them together, making sure I'm turning this module to the left as I squeeze. Just like that, feel it pop, and we can very easily remove the computer console itself. Just like that. Now I do want to make sure that I get that little swivel guy out of there. I need a pair of pliers to reach in there and grab it. Just like so. We will be using this on the new computer. There is one that comes on as well, but I'll be saving this. And I've got a video showing you how to replace these O-rings if you ever get a leak. Might make you an updated video on that as well. But we're going to go ahead and set that guy aside here. And now I need to get my hose out of here. It's very simple. You just pull it out of the boot. That's done and over with. And then, of course, I've got my hose. Now, I am going to be taking this piece off too. I don't actually need this piece. So with a little bit of elbow grease here, I should be able to just pull it right off. And if not, then we will take a pair of scissors and we will actually just cut this guy off, because we don't really need him anymore. Matter of fact, this other computer is going to get thrown away, because it has definitely got it. We've definitely got our use out of that. See if that would be plenty for us. Cut from the other side. Get this guy off. You want to be careful when you do this. Obviously, you don't want to cut your actual hose itself. Just like that. And we are home free. Let's get rid of that guy. And I'm also going to get rid of this little guy here too, because I don't need him. These little hose protectors right here, I need to make a video on that as well for you guys, because I personally don't like them. As a matter of fact, I'm going to cut this guy off too. I cut all these off most of my regs. They are great for rubber hoses. For MyFlex hoses, you really don't need them. On rubber hoses, they're designed to keep the hose from actually kinking. I don't use them on MyFlex because basically they're not going to kink up like a rubber hose is. But their purpose is on a rubber hose. I'll try to show you here. On a rubber hose, when you screw this into a first stage, even if it's on the other side, if you bend your hose just right, you can see it can kink around this metal fitting here. So that hose protector is designed to kind of go there to create a stopping point that is smooth, and you're not actually cutting into the hose with that piece there. You don't really need that, so to speak, on these MyFlex hoses. As you can see, I can't really kink it all the way at the end, especially when it's pressurized. But just like that, that hose is done. Now I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning up here, get this hose really good. I'm actually going to let it soak temporarily over here in the water as we prep the other one. But once again, the reason I'm replacing this computer, as you can see, I can press on the button. Absolutely nothing happens to it. Yeah, this computer is pretty much shot. All right, now that we've got the hose off of this, we got it soaking. I'm actually going to be doing a little cleaning on it. We need to actually disassemble this console system here because I've got to be able to get this hose off of it. Now, to do this, the boot itself, which is the console area itself, it's just soft rubber. So theoretically, you should just be able to bend this backwards, and this module, this gauge module here, will just pop right out. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that with the compass here in the back. So all I'm going to do is just kind of get my fingers up underneath that compass there, give it a little push, and that compass should pop right out. Now, if you do need a little bit of assistance here, you can just take a little flathead screwdriver. Be very careful. You can get up underneath that boot there and pry up, and that compass will simply just pop right out. Just like that right there. Once we get it started, you just take your hand, bend it forward, that compass pops out just like that. And now you can see it's a little bit more pliable. We can actually get in here, pop this gauge module out by simply folding the upper part backwards and pushing up on this hose, and that gauge will literally pop out just like that. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did on the other one to disengage. We're going to take two different wrenches here. We're going to take a number 14, and then we're going to take a number 13. We're going to set them aside from each other and simply squeeze. You'll feel it pop. Once it pops, you can very easily take off the gauge itself, and here you'll see that little swivel or that little spool that's up in there. We are going to pull this guy out as well because I want to make sure it's good and greased. This one is brand new. It's straight from the factory, but I do want to make sure that I get a good amount of grease on those O-rings. So we're going to set that aside really quick. To pull this out of the boot, all you got to do, it takes a little bit of elbow grease here. We're just going to get down there, get a little pull on it, pops it right out very, very easily. And now all I've got to do is slide my MyFlex hose straight up in there, reconnect my gauge with the spool, pop it into position, pop my compass back in, and then I can attach it back to the first stage and be good to go. Alright guys, now that we're ready to reassemble here, I am going to be threading my MyFlex hose up through the boot itself here in this Mission 3 console. It's a very simple process to do. All you've got to do is take the female end of your hose and you are going to get it started in the boot. Now this one right here is very easily to slide right in. If you do have a little bit of difficulty, a neat little trick here that you can do is just take a little bit of silicone grease, just a little dab, and you can run it around the nut portion of the hose there, and that's going to make it just slick enough that it should slide right through that rubber very easily, and then it will pop out the top just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull it through, give myself a little bit of slack. We are going to be using the gauge that comes with the Puck 4 Mission 3 console, and we are going to be using the brand new spool. If you happen to buy gauges, some manufacturers will send a spool with a gauge. If not, you can reuse the older spools from other computers. You just want to make sure that you do replace these O-rings and that you do put quite a bit of lubricant on it. So I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to take a little bit of silicone grease here, and I'm going to run it around the O-rings. We have made a video in the past showing you how to replace these O-rings, so if you ever have a gauge that's leaking, it's not something that you should panic over. It is something you should be concerned about, but not something that you should panic over. We actually show you how to go in here and replace these O-rings, but it's very easy to do. Now I'm just going to simply slide it back up in there. Whether you slide it into the hose or the gauge itself, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and slide the gauge into the hose connector there and tighten it down just hand tight. And then I can take my 2 wrenches, 13 and the 14 here, slide it on, put it in 2 different positions here, make sure that when I do squeeze it together that it's turning it to the right, and just like that, my gauge is already attached. Now to slide it back in the boot, all you got to do is worm it kind of down into the hole itself of the console there, and you're going to get it part of the way started at the bottom. Like that. You can kind of bend it out a little bit if you need to get it a little bit further. And then you're just going to lay it on the table and kind of push down on it, and it will pop right into that boot. Now, if you are having difficulty there, once again, you can use a little bit of silicone grease around the edges of either the boot or the gauge itself, and it should very easily and very nicely just pop right in there. Now we're going to flip it over. We're going to go ahead and throw our compass right back in there. The main thing on the compass is we want to make sure this view window here at the bottom is lined up with the view window here. Now on this particular one, I am going to add just a little bit of grease here around the bottom. Not much, but just a little bit here around the bottom there. And I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to nicely lube the inside of that rubber there. This one does tend to be just a little bit difficult to pop in. But we are going to line up the view window here with the view window there on the edge of the console. I'm going to go ahead and get it started all the way in. So if you can see that there, I've got it started all the way in at the bottom. And then all I'm going to do is just press at the top, just like I did with the pressure gauge, and it's going to snap right in. Now I'm going to observe it, make sure everything's good at the view window that I can see, make sure that I didn't throw the compass off at all. Obviously it's reading true north, or magnetic north, which is that way, which I know is correct. I can verify. Yep, it's verified. All right, everything is good there. Now all that is left is to actually go on and add my bolt snap to it. All right, now that we have everything ready to go, we are actually going to go ahead and tie on a bolt snap. We're just using the one off the old computer. If you're more interested on how to actually attach a bolt snap to accessories such as flashlights, cameras, or in this case a console system, check out this video here. I'll link it down below for you as well. We show you a very simple method that you can just use some cave line here to very easy tie it on, whether it's just your standard pressure gauge, a mission gauge system like this, or even if it's say attaching in to an accessory such as a flashlight, things like that. But all I'm going to do is simply take all the slack up here. I'm going to go through it one more time. And on this particular one, I don't really care what it looks like, so I don't care about the dressing part of it, but I do care that it is nice and secure. And it does look like it's going to look relatively pretty there for me. I'm just going to make one little loop here, tie that part. I'm going to flip it over, tie it on the back, cut it and burn it, and we should be good to go there. So left over right. Nice little tight squeeze on it, and then right over left. That should give us our little box nut. There we go. Perfect. Just like that. Alright, now that that is tied on, we cut off the excess here very easily. Take our lighter, burn down our nubs. Let that one burn all the way down. Okay, and we'll fuse it down just like that, very easily. Do the same thing on this one here. Come on, melt on down. Okay, get that going down. Secure it nice and good. Boom! That is attached. Computer is set. And we are officially ready to attach it back to our first stage. And just like that, guys, I changed out my older Puck Air with a compass computer for the new Mission 3 Puck 4 dive computer. Of course, we got the Puck 4 computer here. We've got a compass on the back, and we got a pressure gauge. It's everything I need for the type of diving that I do when I'm working, such as salvage work, or public safety work, and commercial diving as well. Got my bolt snap attached, got it rehooked to my first stage, and I'm ready for my next mission. But guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I do want you to stay tuned. I'm going to be doing a separate review video on this computer as well. I'm going to show you the computer. I'm going to show you all the features to it, what comes with it, and why the new Puck 4 series, whether it's in the mission consoles or it's the Puck that goes on your wrist, the Puck 4 for your wrist, I'm going to show you why they are so much better than the previous models as well. But yeah, it's a great little computer. I'm really looking forward to putting another 2,500 to 3,000 dives on this one, and hopefully I can get the same kind of use out of this one that I did of my old one as well. But if you got any questions, comments, or concerns, drop me a comment down below and I'll try to answer it the best I can as quick as I can as well. But that's going to do it for today. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.